Hi friends, it's Julia. Thanks for stopping by my channel today. I'm going to share a layout that I created with my June 2019 Counterfeit Kit Challenge kit. The layout is called Lovely Girls. I had started by doing a 4x4 process that I followed along with over at RTS. This is actually the second layout. I, for whatever reason, got super excited to play around with the papers that I chose, so I went ahead and did the first one without recording it. And so it was kind of an afterthought. Once I was done with it, I thought, oh, I wanted to record that, but yeah, the first one didn't get recorded, so this is actually the second one. The star paper and the letter paper are both my extra pieces of paper for the 4x4 series that I'm following along with. And I'm sorry, y'all, I don't remember which one exactly it is, but it's from a long time ago. Not the very first one that she did, but maybe the second or third one. Yeah, so I'm going through, and with this one, the letter paper, I'm going through with quick quotes, chalk ink, and doing the edges of that paper. And I'll do that with all of these papers, and it just gives it a little pop. It separates the white of the letter paper from the white of the background paper. And then the pattern paper, I put six 3x4 pieces of paper on top of it. And it just kind of breaks those up and makes those pop off that a little bit more. And I'm going through, and that's what I'm doing now, is I'm inking up all of these. And I have sped this video up 2 times. The actual process itself, once I had everything laid out, took about 47, almost 48 minutes to do. And I think it's because I had picked out all the papers and stickers and embellishments and everything I wanted to use like one night, and then the next day I came back and I started up, and I'm like, oh, wait, what was I going to do with this? I'm sure you guys have those moments. You have everything all laid out just like you want it, and then all of a sudden you remember that you don't remember what you want to do with it. And that's kind of how I started off with this. You know, I knew I had the papers that I wanted. I know I have the embellishments that I wanted, but I wasn't sure when I started with the process where I wanted to go with it. And so I've kind of used Janet's over at RTS. I've used her layouts that she has created as a general inspiration. I don't always follow them. It's like anything else. When you have a sketch for something, you know, it's easy enough to follow along and place your photos like however you want it. I look at the layout that she creates, and then I kind of do my own thing. So they're not 100%, it's not 100% scrap lift, if you will. So I'm going through here and I'm placing all these down, and I'm figuring out where I want them all. And I pull in a piece of scrap paper. It's one that I had put into the kit already, but I had not laid it out here on the side. I was going to use this piece of paper with this stamped image on it. And then for whatever reason, I chose not to. And so I'm looking for something else to use. And I end up pulling out this striped paper. And I really wanted it mostly for the yellow edge there. Because of the yellow in the background, I wanted to pull some of that up. My photos are, they were all taken at night. So we only had the house lights on. And they gave everybody a really warm glow. I had the overheads on and everything, but it wasn't super bright in the house. And so because of that and the warm tone to the photos and all of these super bright papers, I have found one of the things that I can do is, even if it's not a warm shade of yellow, if I pull in a yellow along with all these bright color papers to go with my photos, it gives it enough of a blend. Does that make sense? It doesn't make the photos cool, and it doesn't make the layout warm, but it blends the photos, because I don't always pull my photos before I get ready to start this process. A lot of times I will pull a kit together without having any photos there to really think about what I'm doing with it. And so that's kind of what I did. I have a stack of photos over to the side. Once I pulled my papers and everything, then I looked through and said, okay, these are the photos I want to scrapbook with this. And so to make them work, I do what works in my head. And I have found that if I have that super bright, bold color in the background, although those are kind of the ones that I have in this layout are somewhat toned down, but they're still pretty bright and vivid. One of the ways to do it is just add that simple bit of yellow next to the photos, even though it's not, it's not a warm tone in the sense that it's not creams and golds and browns and that shade. This yellow pops more towards daffodils and sunshine, but it's still warm. Yellow is still a warm tone in my brain. It doesn't matter if even if it were like neon yellow, in my brain, it's still a warm color. And so for me, it works. You guys may think I'm Looney Tunes, and that's okay. Whatever works for you. This is just what works for me in my process. And so I did not have that twine in my, the embroidery floss there in my stash or in this kit, but I do have it on a carousel right beside where I scrapbook at, and so it's always available to me. I try to keep things in there that I might pull from all the time to use on whatever. And so you see there, I'm just trimming down the floss. And I couldn't tell you why I added that extra bit of string on there. But I did. And it looks super cute on the layout. I think maybe to give it a little bit more bulk, to add that, to tie those ribbons together or those strings together in the background. And so I'd have a place to put the bow as well as glue dot it down. And so you can see this, it looks like it's a fast process. And in my mind, it really was a fast process. It was less than an hour. And that's typically what an average layout takes me. But I have come to the realization that when I scrapbook at night after work, it's easier for me to do it like this. Like one night I will pick the papers out and leave them laying on my desk, and then the next day I'll come in and I'll be able to whip a page together pretty quickly. But when I come home from work, for some reason it doesn't jive to pull everything together and then put the layout together when I'm doing it this way. Here you can see I've laid down some border strips. I had that scallop edge. It was just a scrap that I had in the borders that I added to this kit. And I took some washi tape that I had on like the backs of scrap paper, white scrap paper, and put the washi tape on those and then cut them down. And then that little tiny sliver with the dots on it is actually from a cut apart sheet. It was part of the sheet. It didn't pop out or anything. And so I cut it down using my trimmer and just, pulled it into the layout as well, because it had that nice turquoise color in it. And you can see I'm going through here and the different things that I have pulled out to use. I'm just starting to add things down wherever I feel like I need them. I'm not uber fussy about putting these layouts together. If I pulled it out, that's where I audition, if you will, those letter stickers to see if I'm going to use them. I set them over to the side and I'm thinking about it because I do have some bits of bright blue. And one of the girls in the photo, she's got on a turquoise blue top, and then my niece has on my niece Amanda has on a blue and white sweater, and then my niece April has on a floral dress. So there's blue in the background photo, but not that shade of blue. And so I'm thinking that's just not going to work. So I set them over to the side, but I'm still thinking about it. I've watched RTS for a while, and it's kind of funny to hear her talking about the things that she does, and how she processes a layout when she's putting it together. And I have found that I have done these things as well. I've been scrapbooking probably as long as she has, but it's and I think it's just a process after you go through life and you've done this for a long time. There's some things that right off the bat, okay, I need to think about this a little bit more. Try it here, try it there, and then you realize, nope, that's not going to work, and I'm not going to try and make it. I'll just go with something different. And that's what I did there. I pulled in this other font, and I'm laying it down now. And I have pink all throughout the layout, so there's not a problem with that. I didn't have to go dig special. Those were already in my kit. So I usually, when I build a kit, I will put a couple of large alphabets in it, as well as a couple of smaller alphabets. And that's what I've done with this one. I have that dark blue set, and so far, I haven't used it at all. And I'm just going through there being a little bit fussy and nitpicky with the title. I like it to be all on one page, on the 1 3x4. And I also don't like it to touch the top of that sheet. I want there to be a little gap all the way around it so that you see that paper all the way around it, because it kind of is like a billboard. It holds those letters in. And that's just a little tag. And I'll tell you, I thought about this too. I thought about not using that little tag because it felt a little bit warm to me with the yellow and green tones of it. But then again, I needed the warm tones in it because I have the warm tones there beside the photos. And then I wanted to pull the warm element in somewhere else along the card, and I did there. And then one of the washi tapes towards the bottom, some of the shades in it are warmer feeling. And so there, I just, I have learned that I need options. And as I go through, I will audition any number of things before I choose exactly what I want. But then there's times that I know I want this right here. And so here I spend, and I think I tend to do this more when I scrapbook in the evenings, or like when I first, if I go to a crop and I first open up a kit and I start playing with it, I seem to spend a little bit more time auditioning things around and playing around with it. But as time goes by and I use that kit more and more, and I'm more familiar with the products that I have in it, it just snaps together and I'm able to pull things in and use them lickety-split. Here I put a label down up there, and it's got shades of yellow and pink on there, and they're warmer shades. I took an enamel heart. I was going to use a little chipboard heart, and then I opted not to. I'm putting this little label sticker down there, and it's got multiple shades of blue to green around the edge of that, and those are all shades replicated in the layout in the different pattern papers. And I knew I was going to need some place to do my journaling. And I can write small, so, that one little label sticker is sufficient for me. I put another little label sticker up there above that with an arrow to it. And I'm thinking about putting that one under there, thinking I might need some more space. But I really don't have much to say other than I want to tell who's in the photos. And so I had planned on using this Be Happy sentiment. It's a chipboard sentiment from Close to My Heart that I had added into the kit. And so you can see me just placing it down there. And I'm okay that the up slopes on the letter B and the letter H are on the photo. It's fine with me. It doesn't bother me. Some people might be a little bit fussy and worry that, it's going to ruin the photos, but of all the things in life that I can worry about, that's not one that I'm going to choose to worry about. And so as I'm going through here, I'm just looking more and more And I take a sticker off that sticker sheet, and I think I'm going to use it down at the bottom. Oh, here's where I had put a label sticker down, and then I put that other sticker, Life is a Journey, on top of that rather than journal, and it just has that peep out color around the edges. Here's where I think I'm going to use that red, but then I'm thinking, no, that's too much red. So there's the other sticker with the green, and there's way more tones of green in the layout than there are of red. Really the only red in the photos are in my one niece's dress. She has a few little red shades in that. And then the washi tape at the bottom has some deeper coral, not red, but deeper coral images there. And then the background letter paper has a little bit of red in there, but most of that is covered up even. And so as I'm going through, I'm still just making a decision about things, and I think I'm actually looking through my stash that I have over to the side to decide if I'm going to pull something else in. Giving that a final look through to see if there's anything else off that sheet that I want to use, and if not, put it away or put it to the side. I do that a lot. Rather than completely put it away, I leave it sitting there so I can look at it again just to make sure. So I'm still piddling around. I'm obviously thinking about something. I don't know just what. I picked up these little bits and pieces from the glitter chipboard because I know with that, it's a glitter chipboard that I have down at the bottom that says Be Happy. I know that I need a little bit of glitter chipboard a couple other places on the layout to kind of bring it all together. And so that's what I've done there. I've just added a couple of little hearts to the different clusters to the left of the photo, and then at the top over the title or beside the title. I really want to use this little label sticker, and I can't read what it says from here, but I was thinking I need to use this, and I tried it out everywhere, and it just wasn't going to work. And I really wanted to use those washi strips as well. There was one that had like a gold stripe, and I thought I was going to put the title down on it, but it turns out it wasn't as large as what it had down on the carrier sheet. The washi was scored down the middle of that, and it was pretty thin. I'm pulling out these little tiny flowers, and I have got my foam tape, and I cut it down so that there's a little bit of foam tape behind each of the flowers, and I'm going to put them in 3 different spots on the layout. I pulled a pink one, a yellow one, and a turquoise one. Sorry about that. Long day at work today. So I'm still just going through, working on getting that foam tape and deciding where I'm going to put those little flowers. And because I have yellow up at the top, I'm thinking, I don't necessarily want yellow here, but I leave it right there till I get the foam tape on the other 2, and then I kind of shift everything around some. I love those close to my heart stickers. They are made out of heavy cardstock. They're really nice to work with. They are flexible, but they are not super paper thin. So I have everything, most of everything where I want it. I'm going to go through, I'm looking at all the different things that I've pulled in to decide if I want to use them. I have those puffy sticker hearts that are right there. And I also pulled out an acrylic heart, an acrylic camera. I've got the puffy cameras there, and I pulled in an acrylic camera, and I think to myself, I would much rather use the acrylic camera than I had the puffy cameras. And I'm pulling up some, those are butterflies that I had previously punched and added into the kit, and so I'm just double layering them. I have pulled a turquoise and white. I have pulled that I've put right there. Then at the top, I've got a light blue and yellow And then at the bottom, I have a turquoise and white, a different shade, or more of a greenish color, I suppose, than turquoise. But I used them in the butterflies in 3 different spots. Doing that whole triangle thing. I don't know. I don't always do it. It really just depends on the photos that I'm using, the layout that I've created, and the space that I have. Sometimes I might use 2 clusters, sometimes only 1. It's just really dependent. I think everybody should follow their own design rules when it comes to that. You know, the design rules are an awesome standard, but that's what they are. They're a standard, and you can choose to follow it or not, or make it your own. And a lot of time that's exactly what I do. Just make it my own. So I'm looking for a little something to back behind the hole in the camera. I don't like when I have an embellishment like that that is has an opening in it. I don't like for the background, if it's pattern paper, I don't like it to show through. Don't ask me why. It's kind of like letters laying on 2 separate pattern papers, or a pattern paper and a solid paper, and you see the split in the paper in the middle of the letters. Makes me crazy. That's one of my, OCD things, I guess. It just makes me nutsy. So I prefer not to do it, and I don't. I move things around in order to prevent that from happening. And so I've put some of the quick dry adhesive there and put that white cardstock behind it. Here I'm just using some enamel triangles to bring that pop of red around the page. There's that heart in the middle of the journaling square, and then I put the red triangles on each cluster, and then I have, of course, the red in the background up on that right corner. So, and then down on the right base some. So I feel like I've got all my colors represented there. I've pulled the yellow around between the background paper and the embellishments that I've added on. I've pulled the pink around. I've pulled the turquoise around. So I think it has a pretty good blend of everything. And I grabbed one of my Sharpie pens to do my journaling with, and it's in a green tone. And like I said, I can write small when I need to. In my planner, I use a bullet journal, and I can write pretty small in there because the lines are pretty thin. But give me a wide gap paper, and yeah, I can write big too. I don't have a problem with that. Anyway, that's my layout. I'm going to show you a few close-ups here of the different clusters. I'm going to try out these embellishments that I have, these bows that I made here. And I'm going to choose the pink because it has that softer feel, and it has that warm feel. And so that's my rationale for using that when all the other colors are bright. So I have a warm feel across the page, if you will. So thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching my layout. I hope you enjoyed watching my whole process. Like I said, the entire process took me about 48 minutes to do, and so I've cut the time in half. I doubled the speed for this video, so you wouldn't have to sit through the whole thing, my whole auditioning process for everything. Anyway, guys, I'll see you on the next video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.